And I'll sum it up to start with by saying it's not good. Households headed by millennials have an average net worth of just $11,000. And you think about that, it's partially explained because this generation is young, but really there's more to it than that. Millennials as a generation are accumulating wealth at a historically bad rate. We currently hold 40% less wealth than boomers did at the same age and earn 20% lower income than boomers despite being better educated. So millennials are pretty much in a bad financial situation, and you think about the causes of this. A lot of it comes down to increasing student loan debt, stagnant wages, economic uncertainty, especially in these times of COVID. So with all of that as a backdrop, I can share my story and basically some tips on how millennials can try to buck this trend and get back on track financially. So about me, I really began my financial journey when I was 21 years old, and I had $232 in my bank account at that time, and was able to become a millionaire 8 years later. So it kind of all started with no savings and no debt on my side, which is a huge luxury compared to most college grads. You know, most college grads have very large loans that they took out. And it took a combination of factors for me to achieve that. I went to a state school, I got some substantial scholarships, I graduated a semester early, and I worked part-time during school. So all those had to come together for me to come out basically at zero. Most people don't do that and they start out in the red. That's perfectly fine, but that's just where most millennials are coming from. My first real job after college was a statistician job. It was paying $55,000, pretty good salary in a low cost of living city. And I really took it upon myself then to start saving. You know, others were buying kind of new cars and condos, and I was renting a house with 2 roommates. And saving was very important to me, but I would say it wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that I was looking for any way possible to increase my income, especially any way that was guaranteed at work. So basically that includes industry exams for salary increases. I was in the insurance industry at the time. I found out about an intellectual property program and submitted some patent ideas that got a few bonuses through that. And ultimately I was very straightforward with management about my desire to move up in the company. So following those, I kind of experimented with ways to make money on the side as well. So was maximizing my pay at work, but also had some, I would say, fun projects that didn't go so well, but some of them did. So an example of this is I had a hip hop music blog that helped pay my college apartment rent, and that did pretty well. I would say from that, my ego got a little too big, thought I was, you know, some great entrepreneur, and tried to start a company selling protein enhanced beer. That did not go well. I ended up losing about $5,000 in that, spent way too much time peeling labels off of beer bottles, and really had a couple more duds that I thought would be fun projects, but weren't good at making money. So finally thought, you know, what if I use my skills that I use at work and really apply that on the side? So started building statistical models to bet on college basketball games, you know, pulling in data from a bunch of different data sources and using machine learning to predict the outcome. Ultimately, that was really successful, took off, made just in the 6 figures in 3 years doing that, but had to shut that down. A little too much risk with some of the offshore sports books that I was working with there. So those were some of my side hustles that I tried. Like I mentioned, a blend of, you know, success and failure, but they're pretty unique to me. I think everyone's passions are unique to them and their skill set. So I'd love to hear in the comments here any side hustles that anyone has here to make money kind of outside their day job, or just any ideas that you think you might want to pursue for making money on the side. So I'll say first one to comment here gets a free signed copy of the book. So please comment in and let me know what you're working on.
That's right. So the first comment will get a free book. Okay.
Oh, I have a question. Like, I mean, it's amazing. It sounds like you're, to some extent, now you're probably 1 in 30 of your age group or 40 who have looked at your future and determined that I need to like in Vegas they have this term, all in.
Yes.
Where I need to push this to the floor, in whatever regard, and I have to commend you for that. And even though the numbers are down from the baby boomers to here, I mean, even your contemporaries, perhaps getting the word out to them that you have some bells to ring and you have some markers to hit. So what are you waiting for? And the thinking is, now youth is wasted on the young, is what has been said. But clearly, you have some real objectives to pursue, and what would be on a when you engage on a day-to-day basis, and you've got 14 to 15 hours of work that you're thinking to do. What's your biggest obstacle, we'll say?
Yeah, I would say I think a big obstacle that I fell into and a lot of people fall into is prioritizing the wrong things.
Okay.
So I talked a little bit about my path here. What one of the principles, everyone's path is a bit different, but I think one of the principles that has to be constant is to manage your career like you manage a business.
Okay.
And when I say that, I think a lot of people become very complacent in their careers. And I was a little bit early in my career, but some people, will put in kind of decades of work day in and day out without taking that step back and think, is this the optimal way for me to make money? Am I getting paid a fair salary? Could I find another job that I enjoy more, that pays more, and maybe I don't have to work as much?
Very good.
So
Hmm.
ultimately, I don't think that consistent 9 to 5 throughout an entire career is the most optimal way to make money. I think
Hmm.
turning that into an active business venture, constantly looking for the best opportunities is the way to go. And I really like a Jay-Z lyric about this actually that encapsulates this mindset. He says, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man. So
No, really.
he,
I mean, the things are going
yes.
through your head. You're evaluating. Now, would you say 70% of your focus and approach has to do with data, internet, and social media like that?
Yeah, almost everything that I do is data related. I found out that
Okay.
was my strong point.
Uh-huh.
I mentioned I tried to go into the brewing space a little bit, but that was not a strong point for me, and that
Okay.
was not successful.
Okay.
I see
Okay.
one of the comments here is, consulting as a side hustle. I think that's a really effective one because it can leverage what you're strongest at. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's big data, it's machine learning, it's really the new age of computing.
Mm-hmm. So amazing. And what are you talking to your contemporaries? How do you, engage? Are you domestic or you have an international agenda too?
Yeah, I've mostly been domestically focused. I started my career in the insurance industry, which is pretty different by geography. And when I got into more of the analytics and using that for sports betting, I did go a bit international there um,
Mm-hmm.
to have access to more markets, access to some more capital. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that there are so many opportunities here domestically. It's definitely possible to succeed, but ultimately the international opportunities are um, I think there for the taking for people that understand that space very well. It's
Mm-hmm.
not one of my strong points, but for people
Mm-hmm.
that come from other markets, if they really understand those markets well, they can execute a lot of the strategies I mentioned.
Hmm. Very good. I'd like let's open up the floor a little bit and explore the
Yep.
dialogue with people. And also, Ethan, he's a millennial, and let's kind of find out what's on your mind. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, the young and the old, the mind of the work of the mind, and engaging, and also overseas, or Italy, France, and India, or in Singapore. Great markets, and
Or London,
enga-
yeah.
engaging in the dialogue of what people are thinking about. Because essentially, I believe it's the same things. I mean, in your case, like, I mean, you're working so emphatically, and then you wonder, is there time for, fun and activities like that? But you're on a different set that way, and you look at, and your work is your fun. Your fun is your work in some ways, and that could be quite fascinating. I mean, can you imagine? Like, I look at some of the pro ball players out there, and they make millions and millions of dollars, but they're just having fun. They're just playing games and doing what they absolutely have a passion to do, and they love doing it. And so consulting, you bring up, is an amazing industry where you're able to take one aspect of something, engage it with something else that you have a strong center and suit for, and make millions of dollars, or whatever case, more than that. What's involved that way, and so now in your case, we're all ears to you, because I don't even know. I mean, I'm a little older than you. I should say a little older. But I don't even think at your age I was thinking the way that you're thinking. I wish I would have been, and maybe some of my other contemporaries on the line would look at it the same way. I mean, and I have a couple of ideas that I'd like to share with you online that we could perhaps engage with, that could get you access to visible audiences, that are quite fascinating. But I wasn't even thinking about, how do you make millions of dollars doing what you love doing, working, and I mean, you making money working, like that.
Yep.
So
So that brings a good question, Blake. So what exactly was the turning point? What made you change the mindset of being a working person that's just trying to pay bills into turning it around into becoming a millionaire and writing a book? So what was the turning point that did it?
Yeah,
Did you see a red color, or what was it? Yeah.
I think for me, it was just a few years into my career. I had always been, doing a decent job of saving and trying to make the most of my existing day job. But it was really through some of these side hustles and looking around at how people were increasing their income from switching jobs that I said, am I putting my energy in the right place? Where if I'm spending 99% of my energy just to do what my boss is asking me to do, succeeding in my day job, that means I have 1% left for myself.
sure.
And I don't think that's effective, right?
Right,
So
right.
no one would run a
Yep.
business doing that. So when I started thinking of my career as a business, and I said, how would I manage this? I need to spend more on marketing. I need to market myself. So I want to go out and speak at conferences, and I need to really work on my resume and my LinkedIn and things like that. So putting more of my energy into those things and networking ultimately led for me to have more opportunities than if I just kept my head down at my desk all day working on, my normal 9-to-5 job.
Okay. Oh, so
So we have a question, and since it's from a millennial, we're going to give him the book as a prize. So Ethan asked you a question. Ethan, you want to ask your own question, or you want me to read it?
You can read
Can
it,
we
it's
hear you?
fine.
Yeah.
Hi, yeah.
No, go ahead. Ask the question. Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to know
Hi, Stephen. Yeah.
when starting a side
Yeah.
hustle or a side business, how much initial capital would you consider investing?
Yeah, the main strategy that I personally look for is to start it as capital light as possible. And that's why I start these things as a side hustle, is to basically test it without putting much money in, and instead putting time in. So when I look at the website that I built, I spent $20 on domain hosting and learned how to build a website myself, and that was a great skill building opportunity. When I started doing
and hold that thought, because I have a very busy person on the line. Stephen Sonell can answer that question, Ethan. So Stephen is at High Point Market, and we are finishing up the furniture market, and Stephen is going to take you through his showroom really quickly. And Stephen, if somebody wanted to invest in Asian Loft and start a side business with you, what would be the starting capital if they wanted to buy product from you and start a little furniture business? Tell us a little bit about what it is. to work with Asian Loft. And Stephen is very busy, Elton, so let him do the showroom thing.
But as a
Stephen, tell us.
franchise.
Yeah.
Well, really, the starting
Not as a
investment
franchise. Yeah.
would be very low. It's just getting a website up there, pushing it through all the social medias, and really pushing the product out there. What we're looking for is somebody to do the selling part of the business, because we don't personally want to be reaching out to the end user. That's because we have a very good connection with all of our designers who are our best customers. They really are the ones, as I go to the showroom here in a little bit, you'll understand better why. They are the ones that in this big mix of product can find the right product and set it in their homes. So a lot of effort goes into that the designer takes all the time to pick something, bring it to them. So we want to be appreciative for that and not be going behind their back directly to the consumer. But if we were to find a partner who can bring all this product to the marketplace and really help doing that for us, that would be a fantastic help. And again, that starting capital investment would be very low. It's just putting it online, getting those images out there for the potential customers.
So yeah, so show us a little bit about what you have in the showroom at High Point. High Point is closing tomorrow, so we're really appreciative that Stephen came on today. Yeah, so stop there, Stephen. Show us that beautiful horse and the credentia. Yeah,
so
tell us
really,
about it.
Really, pretty much everything in Asian Loft is unique, either because it's a one of a kind, like the chest sitting here below, that's made from refurbished old doors from India. So there's only one cabinet like it out there. The horse on top, that's a very nice hanging horse, so it hangs on strings. That's made by an artist in Indonesia. Then we have fantastic bowls like this out of Mexico. And each item, there's only
That's
one.
beautiful. Yeah.
Stephen, would it be safe to say that your articles have a symbolic resonance to it? Is that a tone that you're marketing to for the manufacturer? Is that safe to say, or
Yes,
maybe?
very much. And because of that, people also get involved with it. If you can tell them the story behind things, like we have a magnificent chest sitting under a very beautiful bowl here, and this chest was a dowry chest, which would have been given for a marriage as the dowry treasure. And once you get stories like that out there to the public, that really creates even more of a bond with the product.
So there you have it. You could start a business right now with Stephen, buying some pieces, and he's not even asking for much. He says he'll set you up with the website and everything. And there you have it. Stephen, I'll come back to you.
I would set up the website. No, it's actually looking for a partner.
No, that's going to help with the selling. Okay.
All right.
Awesome. I just love your stuff, Stephen, and it's so appealing to the millennium crowd as well. It's an affordable price too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Stephen, so you're taking some days off. We probably plan to visit you, but I mean, I don't know when it would be a good time, but we should.
Oh, don't worry. The hard part of High Point Market starts now. That's starting to ship close to 200 orders we got in here. So we'll be busy with that for quite a few more weeks.
Okay, very good. We'll make sure we call you, schedule a time to stop by and see what.
Okay, very good. Looking forward to it.
We'll do that. And thank you so much for your time. Oh, I love that table too. So Jerry Baker, you can start a business with Jerry Baker for under $100. Jerry, do you want to tell us about your price point? And Stephen, I'm going to come back to you if you can still stay. Please stay, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Claire.
If you can. If you have to go, I understand. Yeah.
So what do you think, Jerry?
If customers walk in, I might have to sign off.
Okay. Very good.
No problem.
Understand. Okay. What do you think, Jerry? Isn't that fact? I mean, I'm trying to put the mindset of millennials and how they work, and their frame of development with certain things, into some of our contemporary focus on what we missed, what we need to evaluate, and what might be the next course of steps that we can muse minds. So, in the Star Trek they had the Spock mind meld. Those elements add great value like that for us. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So tell us what you think.
Live long and
So
prosper.
Jerry, if somebody wants to start a business, what would they have to do?
They contact me. But we're the independent distributors with Shackley Corporation, and Shackley is, just real quickly, they were started. Dr. Shackley was really the founder of the wellness movement in 1915 when he created the multivitamin, and for 100 years now, Shackley's been developing and innovating and producing nutrition products, and they've paid out over $9 billion since 1956 in bonuses to people who will share the products and invite other people to purchase the products. It's 100% guaranteed. Price point for getting in is $49.95, and you have the potential to earn six figures. It's not get rich quick. You have to work, but Shackley also provides all kinds of resources. You can do everything that you need to do on your phone in terms of contacting customers, signing people up, sending samples, sending information about all the different products and so on. So, and the support is phenomenal. So for millennials who are interested in health and wellness, as well as earning income, which has the potential to be pretty significant, it's a great opportunity, and minimum investment, like you were saying.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. That's awesome. And Kim, we've never met you before. Have you been on any of the Brightside calls? Kim Nicholson?
I was on Monday.
You were on Monday. I missed you. So tell us about what you do, and yeah.
My company is Signature Stager, and I do.
That's right. That's right.
Occupied home consultations, which is to prep homes for marketing. I do live, in-home, and I've also been doing with the Pivot virtual too. So I help get the home prepped for marketing.
Okay.
That's right. I remember you now. And you do the photography. That's great. Yeah. So did you see Steven's presentation? He's at High Point Market doing accessories with Asian Loft.
No, I have not seen them. Like I said, I just got on and was just kind of checking you all out and seeing, if we could all help each other or what it's all about. Donna had invited me.
Sure, very good.
Okay, that's awesome. And that leads us to Donna. Donna, can you get on and tell us about life insurance a little bit? Donna? There you go.
I was trying to unmute. I'm sorry. I always struggle with unmuting. Kim, thanks for joining. Glad to see you. And I'm sorry Blake had to rush off.
Yeah.
I had 1,000 questions I wanted to ask him, but I'll save that for another time. For those on the call that are new, he's an interesting guy. I can't wait to read his book. I'm Donna Four. Yep. I'm a 30-year military veteran. Of note, I was stationed at both Seymour Johnson and Pope Air Force Base right there in North Carolina, so I'm very familiar where Elton and Claire live. It's a great community, and it's very nice to the military, so I really enjoyed my time in the Goldsboro and the Raleigh area. It was a beautiful time. That's where I met my husband, so I have my late husband, so I have a soft spot for Raleigh because I met him there. So anyways, and I never went to High Point, so Claire, you need to invite me down to go to High Point and visit with Stephen Sonneville and see that whole Asian loft thing. It looks beautiful.
Yeah,
So
we were
looking forward
supposed
making
to
a
be
trip
at High
down there.
Point, but we got so busy with the club. So we will go in April. April will be the next High Point. Yeah. So we'll plan to be there. Yeah.
That sounds
And go
awesome.
to see Stephen for
Looking
sure.
forward to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I
Well,
wonder.
I provide life insurance as well for people. I'm sorry. You want me just to wrap up real quick? I provide life insurance and financial support for folks that need assistance with those things. If you were on Monday night, you saw our estate planning and will presentation, which if you missed that, I'm happy to do a one-on-one with people, or if you missed some of it, I'm happy to do a one-on-one with people because it's a very important and timely topic. The other thing I provide for people is assistance with things like long-term care. A lot of folks these days are very worried about if they had a long extended care episode or health issue and how they would deal with that financially. So we have plans and a lot of solutions to help with those kinds of things. And it doesn't always involve going to a facility. Obviously, you can get a lot of help at home. And again, we have solutions and financial products to help you with that. So good to be here with everybody and glad to see everybody. Jerry, good to see you, my friend, my fellow veteran in the group. God bless you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a woman that does vegan products, and she's in another meeting. We can wait for her or have her at our next call because I know everybody's time is very critical, and so we could end or give her a few minutes or.
I have a couple of questions that I'd like to pose to everybody.
Okay.
Because Blake has got me thinking, and just like you, Donna, I said, well, wow. I mean, because I wish that, most of the time, and it's an important element to consider, that when a youth or young person seems disoriented without focus, here this fellow had such clarity and focus of what he wanted to do and achieve, and we'll get him back. But at the end of the day, clarity and focus are two very important things that we need all the time. I mean, you probably have colleagues that you could think of that for whatever you like being. As a matter of fact, Bill Gates said, concentrated focus is probably the most important aspect of our work endeavors that we'll ever need consistently. It didn't say it that way, but essentially what that means is focus. Every day we get up, we have competing interests, and as Blake had said, our priority levels, our levels of priority, they can allow our careers to suffer. So when you focus, what's important, why, and what we spend the most time on day to day. I mean, if you can come up with solutions that wage your focus, increase your focus, diminish your focus. I mean, like it's kind of like you're at the computer and you're trying to build a framework on a plan and you're focused, or you're looking at your banking practices. You're focused because it's your money, and you need to evaluate how your money is being spent, what things are costing, and whether they equal the value. And you'll have to make real critical and crisp decisions. Now, if you're watching TV or doing something just to stay mentally alert, it's not the same thing. But when you can wage your focus to the point where, wow, you're engaged, you're all in. You're looking at the hills, the valleys, the ups and downs, the curves, and the physics of things. You're paying attention. So I mean, how can you ramp that up? How can you ramp that up so it's like drinking the most robust coffee you could get your fingers on? You bam! All of a sudden, your eyes are open, your cuticles are squared up, and you're seeing everything. You're seeing everything. So the comments from Blake led me to think that way. And as a practice with young people, helping us bring that clarity every day into the game, it can only increase your value and your income capacity. So I just want to,
So that's a very good point to end. So I'm going to go around the room. Everybody tell us one example of a turning point that made a huge difference? And if Stephen is still on the line, we'll ask him what the turning point for High Point was this year. So Ethan, since you're the millennial, start with you. What was the turning point in your life that made you go to the UK for your studies? So tell us about what the turning point was.
Hello, everyone. I decided to go to the UK because in my field of work, I am in shipping and I work on chemical tankers. And the UK is basically known as the pioneers of the shipping industry. It has the most value in terms of certification and also the best opportunities. And so I just thought that it would be a really good idea to take advantage of the value of the certificate that it holds. And so I decided to complete my education in the UK.
Very good. Very good. Great
Very
confidence.
good. That was a fantastic turning point. Jerry, what was your turning point that you went to Shackley?
Oh, wow. Well, I finished 27 years in the Navy and another 15 years in healthcare. So I spent 40 some years in the healthcare field. And when I was introduced to Shackley, because I'm a clinical scientist by background, one thing I'd noticed about the healthcare industry is that they do a real good job in diagnosing disease and treating sometimes the disease, but a lot of times just the symptoms. They didn't do a very good job at preventing disease. And then when I saw what Shackley had to offer, the clinical science behind everything they do, the clinical proof that they have in 140 or some scientific publications, it just made sense to me to start heading down that path and helping people to focus on becoming well and staying well, and thereby avoiding disease when they get older. And the science has shown that is indeed the case. So we're focused and we're passionate about, like we like to say, helping people to live younger, longer. Or another way to look at it is trying to make sure that your health span is as equal as possible to your lifespan.
Very good.
So we all could be millennials in our head and stronger in our bodies. That's awesome. Segue to Kim. What was the turning point that made you a stager? What was your turning point?
Well, I was in the medical field for 30 years and then got into home-based business of selling home decor. And that just, I needed to change up, and I thought about becoming a realtor because I had multiple people ask me to become a realtor on their team, and I knew my niche was decor, so I just started researching another avenue. So I looked into the staging and then found the niche as regards to doing consultations, which would mean no inventory with the staging. And so that just kind of, I'm still getting the home decor. I'm still with people in my own business. And that it kind of was just in my gut. I felt it and it worked.
Wonderful. And Linda, can we see you, or can you talk, or are you silent today?
I can talk, but I can't.
Okay, what was the turning point? What was the turning point to writing books with you?
Okay.
And then introduce your books as well. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that right quick before my connection goes. But I'm Linda B Thompson. I'm an author and speaker, a health and life coach. The turning point for me was I retired in 2018 from being a public health social worker in a maternity clinic working with single moms and families. I loved that so much, but it was time for me to move towards the next phase in my life. And that was promoting my messages and still serving people, because I love serving and empowering people through my books. And my first book was Jealousy or Envy, Is There a Killer in You? With the subtitle, Stop the War Within and Be Self-Free. It's built on a faith base, and it's also like a reference book, and it doesn't have to be in order, but it's for anyone who maybe grew up with a childhood being told you can't do this, or you're not good enough, or was in a relationship and you were told bad, words. Words are powerful, and it hurts. but those books will be very encouraging to let you know that you are special, you are somebody. And the second book is Speak Positively and Expect the Victory, Words of Wisdom. And there's different chapters on relationship, singleness, and being married, grief, so on like that. And it's with a lot of scriptures, faith-based, and it doesn't have to be read in order of chapters. However you feel, you just go to that chapter. And my website is www.lindathompson.org. And my passion is seeing people's lives change for the better and to help move obstacles and those things that roadblocks that may be hindering you. So check it out and just share and let people know who's having a hard time about esteem issues or something that was said to them. You can refer them to my website. Thank you.
That
Very
sounds
good. Very
great.
good. Very good.
And
Mhm.
Donna, what was your turning point? What made you
Joining
get
New
into
York
life
Life,
insurance? I mean, yeah, what made you join New York
right.
Life?
Yeah, it's a pretty big leap from being a hard-charging military officer to being an insurance agent. So it was quite a leap. I'd say I jumped over a mountain. But anyway, I had always been in the military. I spent 30 years being a military officer. Then when I got as a civilian, I became a civilian doing the same job I'd always done, just out of uniform. And so I began to get restless, and I thought, maybe there's something else out there for me. I've always done the same thing. I want to try something different. And I got a New York Life recruiter saw my resume on LinkedIn. So guys, LinkedIn does matter. You should use it. People do look at things on LinkedIn. They find people. So I went out to Roanoke and I had a free lunch and I thought, okay, this will be it. And I actually went out for the interview just to practice my interview skills because I hadn't interviewed for a job in decades. And it turned out I was intrigued with the company and the really high moral standards they had and the incredible training programs they had and support for their agents. But here's why I took the job, okay, because I could have gone with some other insurance company, obviously. You all know I was a victim of 9/11. I was in the Pentagon when it was attacked. I survived, but some of my colleagues and friends did not. So that day left a pretty big emotional scar on me. So New York Life, when those two towers went down in New York City, a lot of people had New York Life policies because it's the oldest life insurance company in America. And instead of waiting for the victims' families to produce a death certificate, because here's the thing, to get a payout from a life insurance company, you have to produce a death certificate. Well, there's no way to get a death certificate under the circumstances of 9/11 because it would have taken too long. There were not bodies to claim. There was no easy way to prove cause of death or even if the person was in the building. So New York Life just said, we'll pay your policies as soon as possible. And I said, well, didn't you expect that some of them might be fraudulent? And they said, we didn't care. We just wanted to get the money to the clients as quick as we could. We knew that they were hurting. Now, I asked them, I said, well, how long did it take? And they said, well, what do you think? I said, I think it took probably 6 months, maybe a year. And they told me they paid all those claims in 2 weeks, and my jaw dropped because I thought, I can't believe they, did all that in 2 weeks with all those people to have to pay the claims. So I was very impressed. I took the job, and I've been impressed with them ever since. It's a fabulous company. It really is. The client always comes first.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I love hearing that story, Donna. I mean, I just really get so inspired with that. So my turning point was last year. I was just feeling so low about everything, and business was just dragging, and I decided that I wanted to make my life important, and I wanted to help people. And I suddenly changed my mindset of wanting sales and wanting to get ahead in life into being an enabler and to get to know people and to learn about relationships. And I tell you, when I changed my mindset into really getting involved with my clients, getting to know them, my business increased by 30%. And the club began because I started to care about people. And I always cared about people, but I started to care about my clients. I started to care about their business. And as a marketer, I started to care about how can I grow my clients into businesses, because when they grow, I grow. And when I changed my mindset, everything changed. My magazine changed, my thinking changed, my business model changed. And so this is where we are. I think we lost Stephen, but I think, Elton, if you want to wrap us up with a prayer.
Okay. Just to
Yep.
kind of give you insights and then we'll close out. I'm a consultant by trade, a consultant. And this started for me back in, 20 years ago. We were in New York, less than 20 years, about 16 years. We were in New York and we would attend the Javits trade shows as a business model. And every show we went to, we'd see people coming from all over the world. They'd pack all of their retail product supply in a trunk and display and present. And people were coming to get contracts with Walmart, with Sam's, with Target. They wanted the big clients, and but many had never even frameworked their product and put it in a concise product model delivery. They don't know anything about their business. They don't know anything about the industry. All they know, they wanted a big contract. And they were spending millions of dollars, and still do, coming to America. And so what we had determined was that there's a market here and a way that we can help facilitate developing a customer base for these clients. I remember our first client was a company from India, and they were trying to find an American audience. And so we were able to frame that out for them with a plan, a strategy, a tactical approach. And so to put into context, what you can do for people as a service. And so, which is a byproduct of what we're doing here. But at the end of the day, if you can make people's approach to business, their development in the business easier and simpler to follow, also while giving them a plan or strategy of action, you can help them enable their product and business growth in a tremendous way. And so now we're doing stuff all over the world, and it's pretty exciting. But so for the most part, there's a lot, and while we find ourselves in America, it's just incredible. So, with that being said, I want to thank you all for participating in this important discussion. Now, we've heard from some very dynamic millennials, and they bring to us an insight, a perspective, a forecast. Now, this, which means that if a 29-year-old can become a millionaire, then what does that mean for each of you? That means that if you will contextualize your focus, where you're trying to go, with a plan of action, utilizing your skills and strengths, and endeavoring to achieve in a great way, you can. And so I want to put this all in framework, using your time wisely with a focus and initiative, you can succeed. I want to thank you for participating in today's Brightside Club, and we look forward to having you on soon. And if you have any other questions, don't bother, don't hesitate in reaching out to us. We're here to help you, and it's going to be an amazing fall. So we got 2, 3 months left, well, 2.5 months. So come on, let's get going, people. We got some targets to reach. I'm sure you got appointments to make. I want to encourage you all. Achievements right down the road. So let's do it. So thank you so much for participating. And if there are ways that we can find to encourage each other, let's do it. Let's do it. So I hope this was an encouragement for you. And thank you again so much. And stay tuned for our upcoming events and strategy discussions and dialogue and profile and program events. They're going to be incredible. Thank you. God bless. And look forward to the week ahead. Thank you. Godspeed. Godspeed.
Okay, hold on. And so I just wanted to make an announcement. The next event is on Monday at 8 p.m. We have Dr. Shelley Plum, who's actually a foot doctor. We've had a general practitioner before, but this is the first time. So if you have questions about your feet, she's actually a foot doctor, but she's also a video production. She started a video production company, and her grandmother passed away, and she was so busy with her video productions and her practice, and the death turned her around. Losing her grandmother was such a huge loss for her. It took her back into her childhood and memories of life. And she just couldn't get herself together. She just couldn't get to work. She couldn't get back to her routine. And so she wrote this book about how you break and how you bounce. And her book is about how you break and then how you bounce, and her story and her journey of recovering from her grandmother's loss and how she bounced back, and she's still bouncing back. And I just can't wait to hear her speak. And of course, we'll have our lovely Donna Foray. And I don't know if you've met Sharita Holmes, but she has an accessory line, and Oline and Linda and Patty, who does jewelry. And Kim, if you would like to speak, just contact me. Donna can give you my email, or you can send me your email, and I can put you up to speak. Now you've got familiar with how we do things. But I think this is going to be a marvelous event, and we have such a wonderful speaker. So please join us on Monday at 8 p.m. and learn how to bounce. And I actually have a story about bouncing, because I used to fall all the time. I used to walk on the streets of New York and fall flat on my face, literally, and get bruised. And I would never know why I fell. And then I fell in front of a church and broke my arm, my bone in my right arm. I broke a bone in my leg. And then my husband, Elton, said, "Honey, you need to bounce. You don't know how to bounce." And now I have never fallen since, because I've learned how to bounce, and I know how to balance myself thanks to Elton. But before I met Elton, I would be falling all the time. And now I don't fall at all. I can bounce. So even as one day I was in Walmart and I felt like I was, bouncing, and then I was able to jump into action. So bouncing is important. And when you break and you hit that breaking point, learning to bounce. I can't wait to see her. And her book is absolutely fantastic. And so please join us on Monday at 8 p.m. And we look forward to seeing you. All right. Any last minute thoughts before we close?
Yeah.
Okay, Jerry, would you
Please
like
tell
to
Ethan how
close us
sorry
in
I am.
prayer? Yes. Ethan is my godchild, and he lost his aunt and his mother. And so Ethan is really, and Ethan is a survivor of swine flu,
His mother?
something like COVID. Ethan,
Oh.
yeah, my best friend. Yeah. And yeah, I should
Oh.
be recording all this, but yeah, because they are very private. Yeah. So lots of loss
Tell him that I'll pray for
recently.
him and the family. I didn't realize he lost his mother. That's really awful, but I'll be